This episode is sponsored by Squarespace. I used Squarespace to build both Basics with Babish and BingingWithBabish.com. On the sites, you'll find recipes, equipment lists, other news, and updates. All beautifully designed, if I do say so myself. Get 10% off your first Squarespace order by visiting squarespace.com/babish.
Poké Puffs, huh? Do you want one, Pikachu? There you go. People can eat them too, right?
Ash, what's the matter?
They're great! That's the yummiest thing I've ever eaten in my life!
Hello there, welcome back to another episode of Anime with Alvin. Today, I'll be making the Poké Puffs from Pokémon, a cream puff-like confection that supposedly raises the affection level between a Pokémon and their trainer. Huh, I just noticed that my apron is wrinkled. Cream puffs typically use pastry cream as a filling, but we thought it would be fun to make diplomat cream, which is pastry cream folded with whipped cream. This lighter, fluffier version should be palatable to any Pokemon, no matter how small they may be. So to first make pastry cream, I'm combining 600 grams of milk, 75 grams of sugar, and a pinch of salt in a medium pot until it boils. In the same milk container, I'm combining 75 grams of milk, 30 grams of cornstarch, and 25 grams of sugar to make a slurry. And in another large bowl, I'm combining 115 grams of sugar with about 225 grams of eggs. Yep, that's a lot of bowls. Once our milk mixture starts to boil, we turn off the heat and slowly pour it into the egg mixture, whisking the whole time to temper it. Going a little bit at a time is important so that we don't scramble our eggs. Once the eggs and the hot milk have become good friends, we're going to put them all back into the same pot and bring that up to a boil while stirring constantly. Then we're going to add in the cornstarch slurry that we just made and whisk vigorously for about a minute or so. Whisking for the whole minute, make sure that the cream is thickened and that the cornstarch is cooked out. Once the pastry cream is smooth and thick, I'm going to divide it into 5 equal portions because we're making 5 flavors of Poké Puffs today. I decided to go ahead and give everybody an extra pinch of salt. I guess I'm feeling pretty generous today. For the sweet Poké Puff, I'm adding in 15 grams of unsalted butter and 2 teaspoons of vanilla paste. For the mint Poké Puff, I'm adding in 15 grams of unsalted butter and half a teaspoon of mint extract. For the citrus Poké Puff, I'm adding in 15 grams of unsalted butter, a teaspoon of orange extract, and the zest of an orange. Oh, I got orange zest in my mint. I should not have eaten that. That tastes like drinking orange juice after you brush your teeth. 2 out of 10. Do not recommend. For the mocha Poké Puff, I'm first dissolving 2 teaspoons of instant coffee into 20 grams of melted butter so that it can bloom, and then adding that in along with a teaspoon of vanilla paste. And finally, for the spice Poké Puff, I'm adding in 15 grams of unsalted butter, a teaspoon of vanilla paste, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Once all 5 bowls of pastry cream have been incorporated and smooth, they get a little plastic wrap on top to prevent a skin and set in the fridge to cool. Alright, onto the puff part of the Poké Puffs. Cream puffs are often made from choux pastry, so we're going to start by combining 500 grams of water, 250 grams of unsalted butter, about a tablespoon and a half of granulated sugar, and a teaspoon of kosher salt in a medium pot until this boils. The moment this starts boiling, I'm turning off the heat and adding in 250 grams of bread flour. I guess we're making mashed potatoes. You'll know when this part is ready when there's a little bit of a fond that develops in the bottom of the pan. And once we start to see that, I'm transferring all of this dough into a stand mixer. Because typically you'd beat in the eggs with a whisk at this point, but in my experience, that can get all slippery and slidey and it's not very fun. So I like to let machinery do the work for me. I'm slowly adding in about 450 grams of eggs. How do you know when this is ready? Great question. Kendall likes to describe it as the Dairy Queen cone tip swirl thing. Honestly, I don't really know what that means since I've never had Dairy Queen, so I just nod my head yes and ask Kendall to come and check. Once this has been Kendall approved, I'm dividing this dough into 3 portions for our sweet, mint, and citrus Poké Puffs. The sweet Poké Puff gets 1 teaspoon of strawberry extract and a couple drops of red food coloring. The mint Poké Puff gets a teaspoon of mint extract and a couple drops of green food coloring. And the citrus Poké Puff gets a teaspoon of orange extract and a couple drops of orange food coloring. Food coloring isn't necessary since it doesn't affect the flavor of these, but I think it would make these more appealing to any kind of Pokemon that wants to eat them. For the mocha and spice Poké Puffs, I'm making the same dough, just half of the previous size, except that this dough gets an extra 25 grams of cocoa powder. The mocha Poké Puff stays plain, while the spice Poké Puff gets a half teaspoon of cayenne powder. Now that our 5 different choux batters are done, I'm putting them all into 5 pastry bags because it's time to pipe. I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a whirl. Not the best. After consulting Kendall and watching a master do her job, I will try to do the same. Oh god, this looks a little a little suspicious. That's not a Poké Puff at all. Stop, why are you zooming it? Cut the video, Then we go ahead and dip our fingers in water, kind of bloop, and push the top back in on every single puff. This solves for any mishaps or mistakes from earlier. Some of these might be beyond saving though. But into a 375-degree oven they go. Our Poké Puffs have puffed quite nicely, despite previous shenanigans. I'm cutting one of each flavor in half because they're ready to be filled. But before we fill our puffs, we're gonna make the glazes that give each Poké Puff its signature color and peel. For the Spice Poké Puff, we're making a dark chocolate glaze with 3.5 ounces of heavy cream heated with 10 grams of light corn syrup for shine and combined with 6 ounces of dark chocolate. For the Mocha Poké Puff, it's the same amount of light corn syrup and heavy cream, but with 6 ounces of milk chocolate instead. And for the other three, we're making a white chocolate glaze with 12 ounces of white chocolate, 7.5 ounces of heavy cream, and 20 grams of light corn syrup, which will be split into 3 batches for coloring. I'm going to dip the tops of the Spice and Mocha Poké Puff in their respective glazes and set onto a wire rack so that it can drip off and set. Then we're going to divide the white chocolate ganache glaze into 3 equal portions, coloring with pink, orange, and sweet food coloring for the sweet, citrus, and mint Poké Puffs. Gonna give these tops a dunk in their respective glazes before they join their brethren on the tray. Now that our 5 bowls of pastry cream have chilled, it's time to fold in an equal amount of freshly whipped cream into each one. This is what turns pastry cream into diplomat cream. After some gentle folding, it's now time to carefully pipe a little dollop of each cream into their respective flavored puffs. You can't tell, but we're actually really tired at this point because we've made 5 different flavors of choux pastry, 5 different flavors of pastry cream, and 5 different glazes. So to see this all come together is pretty rewarding. And for the perfect finish, each Poké Puff gets their nice little colored hat placed right on top. And there you have it. Sweet, mint, citrus, spice, and mocha Poké Puffs. Let's see if it was worth the effort. I decided to go with the mocha with chocolate choux pastry, coffee-infused diplomat cream, and a milk chocolate glaze. Cream puffs are good, but this is really good. Kendall decided to go with the citrus Poké Puff, an orange choux pastry with the orange zest diplomat cream with a white chocolate orange glaze. Steve went for the sweet Poké Puff, strawberry choux pastry filled with a vanilla diplomat cream and a white chocolate glaze. I guess I can see why trainers in Pokemon both enjoy eating these. They're really colorful, fun to eat, and most importantly, they taste great. Now, where can I find some Pokemon to feed these to?
Thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring today's episode. They've been a great partner in supporting the Babish culinary universe and bringing my websites to life. From websites to online stores to domains and analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform for you to build your online presence. They also have SEO tools so that your site is getting found and searched by more people more often. If you want to try it for yourself, you can start your free trial today by visiting squarespace.com/babish to get 10% off your first purchase.